Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today, I have the pleasure of playing this crazy blue-white artifact Affinity aggro deck that won the first Legacy Challenge after Modern Horizons 2 hit the scene. This is a request from Patreon subscriber Chris. Thank you, Chris, for asking me to play this. I definitely wanted to give this one a try. So what this deck is doing is getting on the board really quickly and defending itself just long enough to get over the finish line. And there's a lot going on here. So let's look at Urza Saga first. I'm not going to go through everything this card does because I've played it several times on the channel right now, and the set's been out a few weeks. If this is the first time you're seeing Urza Saga, I'm sorry, but this is a good video to start with. So make a colorless construct artifact. The deck is full of artifacts, so these constructs are not going to arrive as like 1/1s or 2/2s. They're going to be 5/5, 6/6s, 7/7s. If you Urza Saga on turn 1 and then Ancient Tomb on turn 2, that's just like bam bam, 2 constructs, tutor up an Esper Sentinel or a Retrofitter Foundry or something, and that's a lot of damage right away. A lot of decks will struggle to beat that start just on its own, and then it tutors on the way out. Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp. This is the first time I've played with this card. So modular 1. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1 counters on a creature you control, it puts that many +1 are put on it instead. You could pay a red to destroy target artifact you control, and you can pay a white to give this thing flying until end of turn. So Mox Opal can tap for red. I'm not sure why we need to do that, but it is there, and the white gaining flying is actually pretty significant. So Esper Sentinel, other new card in the deck I haven't played with yet, but I have played against on the channel before. 1 mana 1/1 human soldier artifact creature. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell of the turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. So it's not like Thalia where they don't get to cast spells, but you do gain advantage if they don't treat it like Thalia. So it kind of puts them in a squeeze of, do you want to wait to Swords to Plowshares this thing so we don't draw a card? But by then it might be bigger. Like you can modular onto this thing, then they have to pay 2 or 3, etc. So that's a fun one to mess around with. Stonecoil Serpent, classic. This card is very hard to kill. Protection from multicolor, surprisingly relevant. Reach, trample, all great abilities on this one. Walking Ballista, you can modular pile onto this thing and just machine gun your opponent into dust. Nettle Cyst, this is a new one from MH2 as well. It's a living weapon. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. So the Nettle Cyst counts itself. So your living weapon germ is a 1/1 at baseline, but it's going to be much bigger than that in a deck full of artifacts. So this is just going to be a 3 mana like XX, where X is pretty close to your number of permanents you control. I don't need to talk about Arcbound Ravager. That card is tried and true. Emery, Lurker of the Loch, doesn't have Affinity, but also does. This card costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. That's Affinity. They just didn't keyword it in Throne of Eldraine. That's the resiliency of the deck. If the first wave doesn't get there, Emery's the second. Master Thopterist, same thing. This pumps out all sorts of creatures for a pivot off of like the main beatdown plan. You can also draw cards. Thought Monitor. I think this is my favorite sleeper hit from Modern Horizons 2. This card just showed up in all sorts of decks. I'm pretty sure I bought my set of it for like 20 cents a piece when the set first came out. Now it's buying for $4 with the bots. So this one is getting the respect it deserves. It costs 7 looks like a lot, but it's really not. Like this is a 1 mana 2/2 flyer that draws 2 almost all of the time. So really powerful card. Flying matters. When you modular onto a flyer, it matters even more. And that's what we're doing here. We're just trying to get opponents dead. Oh, I didn't even talk about the main deck Aethersworn Canonist as a 4 of. This is just heinously disruptive. Like I played against this deck the other day in one of my recorded leagues. It was my Aloran video. So it wasn't even like I was trying to play fair. I was trying to play many spells in a turn. And main deck Canonist just cut out basically all of my outs. This is a serious problem for a lot of decks. And then the sideboard is just removal, mostly for Delver. Like if someone's gonna race you, and you need to buy a little bit of time. Not many people are going to be able to race you, but if you do need to buy some time, Plow can do it. Disenchant is mostly for null rods, I imagine. We'll bring it in the mirror or against Stoneblade and Death and Taxes where it's actually good. We'll bring it in, but it's primarily for null rods because this deck is full of artifacts. And then we have ways to slow down combo. And that's the deck. Let's go run people over with constructs. I'm on the play in round number 1. My hand has a turn 1 Esper Sentinel, so I'm in. So this hand gets to curve Esper Sentinel into 2/2 Stonecoil Serpent. And then I'll have 1, 2, 3 artifacts in play. And hopefully I'll draw more cards before then, but we're working up to this Thought Monitor. Nettle Cyst is a banger. This doesn't quite explode, but it is very good. And if they answer this Esper Sentinel, I'll get to draw cards. So definitely the Esper Sentinel at the bottom of this curve really ties the hand together. So here it goes. And ship it. See what we're playing against. A basic swamp. So is this Pox or Storm? Not many decks are happy to start on basic swamp. So Seat, Serpent. I'm not sure if playing the Serpent before or after combat matters. Like, I'm just trying to think of... Like, I guess I could... So if they have, like, Fatal Push and they're going to cast it this turn, I would prefer they take out the Serpent and let me keep my Sentinel to keep drawing cards. So if I attack before playing my spell, then they're just going to take the obvious play and take out my Sentinel. Oh. Are we playing against 2-card Monty? Is this like a Helm Leyline thing that's coming my way? Whatever it is, it's cool. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can cast Thought Monitor right now. I can Ballista to kill the Voidwalker next turn. I hope I get a next turn. If they just like Dark Ritual, activate Helm, I could lose. Gotta bridge the gap into this Ballista somehow. Also Voidwalker, it could just be like a value Voidwalker, and they could like glimpse the unthinkable, mill me for 10, and cast the best card out of there. But I just hope that that's not the case. They have an Ancient Tomb. They can cast Helm this turn if they have it. Gotta hope they don't also have the Lotus Petal to activate it. Alright, so they've played Chalice on 1. I don't care about that. There's basically no 1-drop. Or, that's not true. There's a lot of 1-drops in my deck. I'm playing fucking Urza Saga. I'm like, I don't care, but I kind of do. But I mostly don't also. Alright, so Ravager plus Ballista is what they call a combo. I could just play Ballista on 2. Can I kill my opponent right now, I guess is the question. So if I Ancient Tomb, Arcbound Ravager, or I guess Seat of the Synod would be an extra artifact. So Seat of the Synod, Arcbound Ravager, attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put them to 10, and then I guess shooting them with Ballista doesn't make any extra. So I can attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's not close to lethal. I think I need to get this Walking Ballista into play on 2. I'm going to play my Saga first. And then maybe I should attack. I think I should attack first. They can't block. It's weird that they didn't attack unless they're planning on like destroying a thing and trying to cast it. But you may cast it this turn without making its mana cost. Yeah, that has to follow all of the normal rules about timing restrictions. So they don't get away with anything there. I could roast this Voidwalker now. I guess I don't really have to, because this is damage on board if they aren't able to clear my Ballista. And I don't think there's a way to flash in a a helm. And Dark Ritual's off the table because of Chalice. I feel like this is safe. I may live to regret it. We'll see. My opponent in the chat said petty when I cast the Walking Ballista. I guess it is petty too. Not want to die to your combo. So are they going to attack for 3 this time? Nope. Still not interested in attacking with their shadow creature. I mean, they're not winning the race. I guess it's fine. Nothing really lost there. So here we go. We've made it to my turn. Saga triggers. I think it's time to cast Arcbound Ravager. So Ravager's in. I can make a construct. Nettle Cyst, I can't really put on anything. They can actually... The Chalice does stop Stone Coil Serpent from making an extra thing, so it's time to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can get in for 8 here. Hope they got a spell. Opposition Agent. Does that matter? Do I care? What does that do? How do I respond to it? So I think I actually don't get to Ravage because they have Voidwalker. Alright, that was a misstep. I should have put Nettle Cyst onto something. But should have put Nettle Cyst on Stonecoil Serpent. Okay, Opposition Agent is in play. Yeah, definitely a misstep there. But they are at 8, which is not very much. Alright, so what does that do to my plan? If I... Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage coming through. If I shoot Voidwalker twice, and then I can pile on. Yeah, okay. This should work, I hope. Dismember breaks up the party. But I'm gonna shoot Voidwalker, and then sack this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is enough. Sack itself to itself. Yes, do that. And then modular onto Esper Sentinel. That's the one that draws me lots of extra cards. I think I've rounded to 8 correctly. Alright, good. We did it. Navigated that one. So we're playing against some sort of mono black. Maybe Curses, maybe Helm. Well, Helm is definitely in the deck. They don't just play that Dothy idiot for no reason. So Disenchant's probably going to be good here. Or his Swords of Plowshare is better. I don't want to go... Well, we did see Chalice. And so Disenchant at least will hit the Chalice. And Thorn of Amethyst could slow them down a bit. But I don't know if that's really important. Like, do I want to slow down to cast Thorn of Amethyst? Just let's see what's coming out first. If they're a Leyline deck, Emery doesn't look so good. Arcbound Ravager is also a lot worse against Leyline of the Void and the Dothy Voidwalker. Retrofitter Foundry. I want to lower my exposure to Chalice a little bit. So sack a Thopter, make a 4/4. What Thopters are in the deck? Just naturally. None. Oh, this. Yeah, Sai. Okay. Sai's pretty good. And I'm going to cut the other to Retrofitter Foundry. I am generally never scared of shaving Mox Opals. It's just such a bad card to draw 2 copies of in any game. Sometimes it's Lotus Petal, and sometimes you just don't have Metalcraft, and it's a huge brick. So Nettle Cyst. I feel like that's one of the slower things. And I like Canonist a lot. Just the idea that I can turn off Dark Ritual anything. Well, Dark Ritual, Helm, they can still do because Helm is an artifact, but they can't like Ritual Curse or Ritual Opposition Agent, etc. Opposition Agent does line up really well against Urza Saga. I can't just not crack it because it's not up to me. Maybe I do shave a Ravager because of the Leyline interaction. Alright, this is my plan. Nettlecyst is just like Ravager, except it doesn't care about Leyline. So they didn't have a turn 0 Leyline. That's good. Oh, Mox Diamond's in their deck. So they can Chalice on 1 here, but my hand doesn't care about that. Yep, there's the Chalice on 1. You got it. I boarded out several of my 1-drops for this reason. Punished immediately. Alright, it's fine. So I can just play Ballista on 1 right now, have it in play, start beating down. Oh. Does Chalice counter that? No, because the converted mana cost is 2 of a Ballista. I had a brief freak out. Yeah, alright, that still works. So, Ballista, and I want to get artifacts into play this turn to get my Mox Opal on for next turn. But I don't want to play Opal now because I want to surprise them with what I'm capable of when I just suddenly explode up to 4 mana next turn. So the Swamp Go is their plan. This smells like an opposition agent from across the other side of the planet. Nobody should fall for that one. So Ancient Den, Mox Opal, and I could just hold up, put a counter on Ballista, but the Voidwalker doesn't have flash, so I think I'm safe to nettle. Just get my clock on board. And I'm not going to attack into the obvious opposition agent. Just going to pass the turn and enjoy having this 4/4 in play. And hope that I'm not dead somehow. Wow, what a surprise. Opposition agent in the end step. I got Urborg. That can save me some life off Ancient Tomb if necessary. I'll take that. And I have this Germ that can just go to Pound Town. The mayor of Pound Town. Speaking of Pound Town, they get to tutor my 1-drop, but they don't get to cast it because they have Chalice of the Void. And they're going to die to these constructs way before this matters. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to attack first. In case they flash in a second one and try to double block, I think I want the ability to put more counters on Ballista. And now I can cannon as second main. I lost the damage by doing it that way, but I think I gained elsewhere. It's possible that just having 2 counters on Ballista should be my priority, and I shouldn't even cast Canonist, because their own Chalice has them locked out of Dark Ritual. Alright, there's the Voidwalker. So now the clock is on. It's happening here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, they're 1 mana short of helming me right now. But now I need to leave up Ballista forever. I drew a second Sentinel. Getting the full punish on that one. Artifact land grows the Germ. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I'm just going to attack with my Germ and my Canonist. Canonist is good for damage here. It's really not doing anything else. And they're at 6. And I will just hold on to my Ballista. Hold it up here. Plague Engineer. That's a pretty good card. Put a +1 counter on this. 1. Yeah, there's no reason to pay the extra because I don't have enough to activate Urza Saga right now anyway. So if this names what? Construct. So I'm gonna pick off the Voidwalker right now. Maybe I'm supposed to pick up Opposition Agent. That might have been a mistake. Because they can't combo me out this turn. But I think I'm gonna win if they don't combo me out anyway. So I think it's okay to be a little patient on that one. Make sure I don't lose. What do you name with this? Do you shrink something that's already in play? Or do you proactively name Copter? My constructs are way too big for that to matter. Alright, so in the draw step, or in the main phase after the draw step, Saga will trigger. I can't play any of the cards in my hand, so I'm just gonna save life points and not spend on the Germ, or on the Ancient Tomb. Now they get to search my deck for Opposition Agent, and they get to exile something, and they can play it later. They mostly just get to look at my deck right now. I don't think there's anything in my deck that I'm worried about them stealing. They took Retrofitter Foundry. Yeah, you got it. I'm going to attack with my creatures, both of them. I can just move the Nettlecyst onto the construct next turn for a lethal. Opposition agent being out of play is fine with me. So they're death touching that. And I guess I do get a land drop this turn, don't I? And I can move the Nettlecyst right away. Yeah, oh, that only cost 2 to equip? I thought it was 3. Nice, new cards. So now I have 2 lethal attackers. And I don't think there's a combo that they can combo me with. They could cast my Retrofitter Foundry into their own Chalice. That would be fun. Okay, so they have 6 mana. They can get the Helm into play. Even if their hand is Helm plus Voidwalker, that's not enough to beat me. That doesn't kill any of my creatures. It doesn't even take lethal off the board. -2, -1 on this thing is still 4. And they don't have the mana to minus Liliana and get back their Plague Engineer. Alright, they are doing the mill thing. I'm surprised by that. What creature were they hoping to hit? They brought back nothing, so they must just be conceding. GG's. Alright, we got the GG's in the chat. And we are 1-0 with this silly deck. I'm on the play again with another Esper Sentinel hand. I'm in for it. Let's go. Esper Sentinel is in play. A forest from my opponent. Green Sun Zenith. Let me draw that card. Oh, the Shep. Alright, fine. It's time to find a Walking Ballista sooner than later. Or either Sworn Canonist right in the main deck, get wrecked. Alright, I will... Do I want to offer Esper Sentinel as a trade? I don't think I even do. Yeah, I think I just want to play either Sworn Canonist and Stonecoil Serpent. That card is really not fair to just put in your main deck. Actually, I am going to offer the trade. Just, Elves needs material on the board. I should have made this attack before I played my spells, just to give it a better chance. So they have less information to work with. Oh, this is a scrappy main deck game 1 right here. Okay, so there's Walking Ballista, but it doesn't matter. If I can get this Nettlecyst into play, it'll be a gigantic monster. The Ancient Tomb is saving me right now. So, do I want to play chicken with my opponent right now? Yeah, let's see what we're made of. I'm going to attack with either Sworn Canonist. And if we want to just agree to play fair and both put these cards in the graveyard, I'll take it. Alright, they did not want to do that. So, I think having Stonecoil Serpent on 2 will do the most to this board. Because Ravager is a 1/1. When it dies, I still get a modular, but it doesn't get to Ravage. Walking Ballista doesn't do anything, it's just a 2-mana 1/1, so I might as well get the 2-mana 2/2 out of it. Elvish Visionary, here we go. And they can still set up a Crater Hoof eventually. Ooh. Oh, it doesn't matter. I was about to say that turns that into a forest, but it's still an artifact, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna attack for 4. I will also take a double block on either Sworn Canonist. There's very little limit to what I would take here. I'm just getting material onto the board. Ravager does the most out of the cards in my hand. Well, Nettlecyst does the most, but out of the castable cards, Ravager at least does something when it dies. It makes the Canonist a 3/3, so I get to crunch even harder. I could just lose right now. Oh, right, no, I have Canonist. I can't just lose right now. They gotta take their time, build it up, nice and slow. Right, I'm Nettlecyst flooded. I'm gonna attack with my 2s and my 1, my Ravager. Attacking with Canonist at this point might be a little bit reckless, but it's gonna clear the Oof, which unlocks Ballista, or it's gonna... Oh shit, I'm an idiot. It's not gonna do any of that. They get to activate their guy now. Alright, yeah, they just have a bunch of 5/5s. Okay. I was busy trying to navigate my own shit, forgot about their shit. Yeah, they just get 5/5s on D. Well played. So this is definitely a Swords to Plowshares matchup. That clears the oof. If nothing else, Grafdigger's Cage also comes in here. I don't think I want the rest of this stuff. Yeah, Thorn, they are very much a creature deck, same as me. Withersworn Canonist, one of the best cards in this matchup, historically and forever. A flying creature is relevant, but I have a bunch of big trample creatures, so that's also relevant. I think Emery can chill, though Emery rebuying Canonist is pretty nice if they do find a way to clear it. The Nettle Cyst is kind of expensive for what you get, though it is one of the best ways to play around an oof. Shave Mox Opal, because I basically always shave Mox Opal. I think Retrofitter Foundry is a little slow for this one as well. And here come my hateful cards. Let's do it. I'm on the play, of course, and I have Esper Sentinel, though I think that I should lead on Urza Saga, because tutoring up the Grafdigger's Cage sooner than later is going to be important. Or I could lead on the Sentinel, then Saga, because if I don't... Or I'm going to cast Ballista on turn 2 anyway. Yeah, I'm actually going to lead on Saga and just make a Stonecoil Serpent for 1. I just think that getting the cage as soon as possible is going to be really important. Maybe I'll draw Ancient Tomb and just go insane. That would be the dream, of course. Zenith 4/0. My Esper Sentinel would have shown up for that. Swords to Plowshares is a good draw. So I'm gonna Ballista for 1. Yeah, I'm gonna Ballista for 1. Just kill this thing immediately. I'm down to play a little scrappy here. Let's go. I am kind of white flooded. Like, I don't have enough white sources to cast all my white cards, which I don't love. But it's mostly okay, I guess. I get to float mana off of this before it dies. I get Grafdigger's Cage out of the deck. And then I'm going to play my other Urza Saga and Ballista for 1 and Esper Sentinel. I don't need to play Plow because I have the Ballista if I need to clean things up. I'm just going to get in with Stonecoil Serpent, and the Grafdigger's Cage takes a lot of pressure off what my opponent is capable of. Please fetch Dryad Arbor. Alright, they know better. My opponent is a capable Elves pilot. They're not going to fall for the old fetch Dryad Arbor plan. Well, now or never, fella. I mean, that's not true. I have the Plow, but I do still want to get rid of that, so they can't just make their third one and kill me. Canonist. Do I want Canonist in play or Swords to Plowshares? So if I Plow, I actually get a Construct, so that sounds better. Cage is already picking up a lot of the slack here. I am gonna attack because I have the Plow. I'm just gonna fire it now because that also slows down their Cradle. So just keep the pressure on. See if they take a trade here. They did not. I wonder how many oofs they're playing, because they did just draw it and cast it twice. Like, didn't need a Zenith or anything. They're taking their 1 while they can get it here. So I'm gonna activate Urza Saga to make a Construct, probably. Ooh, yeah, definitely. Alright, so make the Construct. And because of my own cage, I can't tutor the Wasp legend. I have to tutor Mox Diamond, or Mox Opal, whatever this card's called. I guess I could get Retrofitter Foundry, but I'd rather have the Mox. because like I said, my colors have been a little wonky. And this is a 1-drop. Yay! We're having a good time. And I don't have attacks. They have a 2/2 to block my 1/1s. But I have a 7/7, and I'm gonna have a Withersworn Canonist in play this turn, or several. I'm gonna attack with my Construct and the Thought Monitor. Yeah, would be nice to have 2 Canonists, but Canonist plus Cage is still pretty messed up. Yeah, definitely Canonist is the play. Just make sure I don't lose to some surprise nonsense. Don't get greedy with the Nettle Cyst. Like, there's a 2-turn line that I play Nettle Cyst and then equip it to Thought Monitor, and then I can win the game. But I don't think that's a good line compared to just making sure I don't die. Alright, yep, scooped it up. There's a lot of hate in this deck and a lot of ways to look for it. I don't think anything changes in my sideboard. Emery is the one card that maybe I want more of. Just, it's basically like draw 4 up front, and then if I ever get a Ballista in the graveyard and can start looping them, we just go to town. Yeah, I think maybe Nettle Cyst is the worst card left in the deck, even though, like, now that I have the Plows that can answer the oof, I think that is a lot better. Okay, just in my hand. That's cheating. I'm gonna keep. I am on the draw though, so let's see if they get to sneak a Zenith in under my cage. They did not sneak a Zenith in under my cage. So I really want to get ahead of the Zenith, so I will. Just hope they don't have oof, just all natural oof again. Quirion Ranger. If they need Quirion Ranger to make their land drop, I'll take that. So they're getting in. This is the correct sequencing, because then you can use your Ranger to untap Nettle Sentinel, or just cast a green spell. Also works. Ooh, this cage might have saved my life. I also might just be dead anyway. Also possible. Like, if they just flood the board with creatures right now, I could lose. Alright, that isn't what happened. You're an insect. You don't do anything special. Alright, so Saga comes in. And then I can play Snowcoil Serpent as a 2/2, which I think is just my best play, because that blocks their army of 1/1s, and they can't Abrupt Decay this. They can't Natural Order or Zenith right now, and the way that they dumped out creatures last turn makes me think they don't have a Glimpse. Oh, there's the Shep. Okay, that's 5, 6. Oh yeah, they're just gonna run me over with Shep. Yeah, the Ranger gets to untap. This is an attack for 20. Jesus. Oh, that card. I guess I just have to block something. Pick one at random. Alright, how can I win this game? Even Swords to Plowshares isn't good enough. Yeah, alright, just got shept. GG's. Allosaurus Shepherd. I am, like, fairly certain that card is a giant design mistake, and I'm not just tilting off because I lost to it. I'm not tilted. Like, nice job. But I said this in a recent video too. Like, the more that you look at this card, it's like it only goes in one deck, but Christ, the deck it goes in, it's so ridiculous. It does everything you could ever want. So I don't know. But yeah, that was powerful. Just ran me right over through a Grafdigger's Cage on turn 3. GG's. On the play for round number 3 with the Saga Tomb start that I mentioned in the deck tech. So I get to jam this Urza Saga, and I get to play my bee, which is funny because my opponent's username is Beekeeper. We'll see about that. Can you keep this bee? Guess we'll see shortly, one way or the other. But like we saw last game, my Urza Saga never really got to do its thing, because I was always a mana behind, but the Ancient Tomb jumping ahead here is a huge deal. So they can bolt my bug to deny it modular. Alright, they didn't do that. That's good. Saga's on chapter 2. I'm just going to make the construct right now, because if they do block my bug, I want to be able to modular. Maybe I'm supposed to be a little more patient than this. Because if they do like just block bolt, then I'm down to nothing. And maybe I'm just supposed to wait until my constructs are 4/4s and bring the ruckus. Alright, so they have a chain lightning on my construct. That's fine. Mill to daze. This has 3 types of cards already. Pretty close to delirium. Not there yet. We go to my turn. Saga triggers. Make a construct. Tapping Ancient Tomb this much against a Delver deck is a little worrisome, but I think it's going to work out alright. I think I want Opal. Yeah, that makes sense. Got the Opal, then I can play my other Saga and just get those working, or I could Canonist, which does slow Delver down a little bit, but probably not enough, not as much as I'd like it to. So I'm going to Saga. I can play Canonist into Daze, or I could just jam Emery. Yeah, Emery does the most, has the most bang for our buck here. So Emery's in, mill 4, hit Retrofitter Foundry. Do I want to trade my bug for Delver? And I think the answer is hell yes. That does turn on the Dragon's Rage Channeler, gives them Delirium, but then they only have one creature instead of 2. So I still prefer that world. Alright, so they get an extra look with their Surveil. If they can Surveil a creature, they're in the air. We're trying to race a Murktide Regent here. So Delver is almost certainly going to flip. That's what that Brainstorm was about. Flip, reveal, ponder. That's fine. If the Channeler doesn't get Delirious right now, then I think we're good. If it does, then we are under a real clock. Alright, they did stack a creature on top to mill it. So Rager is raging. I can give this flying to absorb damage. I can actually do that every turn with Emery. That's a cool ability. Or interaction. Don't know if ability is the right word. But here come the flyers. Attacks each combat if able and flying. Yep, I go to 9. So I'm actually just dead to Lightning Bolt right now. Don't love that. But Thought Monitor's coming. That's a flyer. Trades with Delver with the best of them. They have Lightning Bolt. Oh no, they have Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. So what do we got here? Arcbound Ravager. I think I need to play Thought Monitor first, because white is what gives my bug flying. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually not even close to Thought Monitor. What am I even talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that thing will cost 3. So I can, if I Canonist, then I just lose. Retrofitter Foundry. Sack a Servo, make a Thopter. Yeah, I don't have any servos in play. I do have a construct. I don't have any way to mess with their graveyard, unfortunately. They can destroy target artifact I control, but I don't think that does anything important for me right now. So if I play Seat of the Synod, you may cast that card. Alright, yeah. So I didn't miss anything with the Emery. I can't play the Ancient Den, which is what I really want. Emery is not really helping me here, so I'm going to put the Foundry into play. If my plan is Thought Monitor, this is all just a free lunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still costs 2. If I play Ravager, I go to 7, just a terrifyingly small life total, but I am probably going to spend that mana anyway, because I need to get my flying blocker up. And if they have Force of Will, we lose anyway. I don't like that long pause about the Ravager, because if they force Thought Monitor, we're screwed. I guess a lot of things. We're screwed in a lot of ways. Alright, that resolved. Everything resolved. Count it, count it, count it. I need to give Zabaz flying, and I need to block with Thought Monitor. That's how this game works. So I'm going to attack for 7 here. and hope that I'm not dead. So I do have 2 flying blockers, and they need 2 of their creatures to get through and a lightning bolt to kill me. They have 3 cards in their hand. Yeah, I mean, they could certainly do it, but I just hope they don't have it. Yeah, 2 bolts does it. Less than 2 bolts does not do it. Preordain, they're digging for bolts. Everything they spend mana on is good for me, because I just want them to have fewer and fewer looks at bolt. This Preordain gets to see 5 cards, though, because they get to surveil twice. They're just chucking Murktide Regents in the graveyard, because they know that's not what this game's going to be about. They bottom the Preordain. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay, Brainstorm. They get to see another 5 cards. Wasteland's in the bin. Island's in the bin. They're getting the full value here. And I like that they're throwing all these cards away. That is what I need to happen. So now they need the land and the double bolt. Oh, this is so tight. Next turn, if I get a next turn, Emery can cast Thought Monitor out of the bin. Oh, I actually just realized that with Zabaz's modular bonus, Lightning Bolt doesn't even kill Thought Monitor. If I sack my Ravager and make Thought Monitor a 4/4, that is a play that's available to me. Okay, so they didn't have the... They don't have double red right now. So if the things that I thought were true are actually true, then we're in good shape right now. All right, so I can make those blocks, and then I can sack Zabaz. This doesn't trample, right? Yeah. All right, Jesus. Don't scare me like that. To put a +1 counter on Ravager and another one on Ravager. Yes, let's do that. So Ravager's a 3/3 now. I'm taking 3. They need double bolt to kill me. Did we do it? Did we figure it out? Or were they slow rolling the land bolt? This would be a great time to have Aethersworn Canonist in play. But there was no window to do that. Alright, just the old post-combat Ragavan. Wasteland takes out Urza Saga, probably? Yep. Alright, so Urza Saga's gone. Is that fine? What does that mean for me? Do I just have to play this whole turn again and lose? Okay, so 3, 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts. I can make it 6 with Canonist, but then I go to... Yeah, the Ancient Tomb is killing me here, literally. Can I present lethal this turn? So I guess probably, because if they block... Oh no, they're at 9. That's so much. Alright, well I guess I have to just swing for the fences here. I'm not getting another turn anyway. So, Aethersworn Canonist, get on the stack. Then I'm going to cast Thought Monitor out of the graveyard. Is Thought Monitor the right one, or is it Zabaz? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's Monitor. Just drawing more cards, trying to hit Mox Opal to do more stuff. There's the Monitor. Draw 2. I hit Mox Opal. So I can play Stonecoil Serpent for 1. Alright, I still have my land drop. Esper Sentinel get in. And then I can play Stonecoil Serpent for 1. I can eat the first Opal and play the second one and play the second Esper Sentinel. So Esper Sentinel's in, and then I can play Stonecoil Serpent for 1, and this should be enough artifacts that whichever creature they block, the other one kills them. Okay, ooh, that was stressful. Alright, so they are dazing my thing, but it's okay because I already have 9 artifacts in play, which is the number that I needed, and that daze lets me draw 2 cards. Are you kidding me? Give it to me. Feed me. And there's not a whole lot of things I can do. Like, Mox Opal would have been the only play there. But we got there for Xaxes. Either one of these things can deal 9 right now. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage. You're dead. Woo! Affinity stuff. Arcbound Ravager. Party like it's 2003. Okay. That was a little stressful, but we did manage to navigate it. Swords to Plowshares come in here. I'm not sure if we bring in Thorn of Amethyst just to try to prison out these Delver decks, or if that's mostly for combo. But what do I do here? So I always like, you know me, I like shaving Mox Opal. I don't think this matchup's really about Nettlecyst. I'm honestly really unimpressed with Retrofitter Foundry. I don't know if I'm missing something or if this is just planning for grindier games, because the creature types on Retrofitter Foundry don't line up at all with the actual creatures in the deck. Maybe I'm just used to playing ninjas where you get to cheat 4/4s basically all the time, but there's no Thopters, there's no servos. There, like, other than turning Psi tokens into 4/4s, I'm not sure why this card needs to be a 3 of in the main deck. Just not super impressed by that one. So I can shave that. Currently bringing in these cards. I can get rid of another Nettlecyst. Emery is good, but it does cost colored mana. And it's one of the lowest impact things to get bolted or get red blasted. So I think I want to turn my Emerys and some of the Nettlecysts into these. Is Emery better than Nettlecyst, I guess is the last question. But Nettlecyst is the kind of thing that lets me win a race. Just putting that on Stonecoil Serpent should be lights out in a lot of situations. Yeah, I think this is the deck I want to present. The Thorn of Amethyst are completely experimental. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be in the deck. Maybe they're not supposed to be in the deck on the draw, if at all. This hand is slow and kind of shitty. I'm going to mulligan it. Yeah, way better. Let's keep this and send... I like Ballista, I like Stonecoil Serpent, I just like all these cards. The Double Sentinel is really, really nice, though. I'm actually going to send the Stonecoil Serpent. Feel free to send hate mail about that decision. It's a close one. Yeah, the turn 1 Dragon's Rage Channeler again. Let's see if they have a daze for this one. I have so many of these, I don't care if one does get dazed. Like, setting them back the land is worth it for me at this point. Okay, sure. Wasteland's fine, but then they have to, like, if they waste me and ponder, I get to draw a card, so they have to decide if trying to screw me off mana is worth more than letting me draw cards. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm not going to give them this. I'll take one to make them think about this Wasteland a little longer. Sure. I got more where that came from. Ooh, that's a good one to find. I still want to move in on Sentinels. This card is just... If I ever draw 3 off of one of their Ponders, the game is gonna just spiral out of control. Another Wasteland, sure. I can do this all day. Still not blocking. No chance. At some point, I'm gonna recoup all those 1-for-1s off the Wastelands when I just draw multiple cards off this. So Dragon Rage Channeler. Another one. I think it's time for Walking Ballista. Like, if they're gonna cast a Daze or Force of Will and give me 2 cards, I'll take it. I am just gonna pick this off right now while I can and get in for 2. I'm winning the race. I have this card advantage engine just waiting to go off. Oh yes, cast Ponder. Boo. Alright, they had a Delver. Unfortunate. I will offer a Sentinel trade for Delver, because that's the one that can actually clock what I'm doing and beat the Ancient Tomb. Alright, they didn't take the block. they see the same thing that I see over there. Urza Saga's in play now. The Wastelands are paying off. The white sources are in my graveyard. Delver didn't flip. Right, they found their second land. Well, I guess it's their fourth land. They did waste me twice. So I have to be careful with the Ancient Tomb, because they could just suddenly present 6 damage in the air at any point. But the constructs are going to be the biggest things on the planet. Here's the attack. Even if they ponder now, like, if they ponder and pay for one of the Sentinels, I still draw a card for the other one. Like, it's pretty good. Oh, Expressive Iteration? Oh, just a naked little 3/3 Murktide Regent? Fair enough, I guess. So, do I want the second Saga in play? I think that I do. So 3, 4, yeah. Let's just get Saga to work. And pass a turn. My Saga can tutor up Mox Opal, which can cast the Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, Delver didn't flip. That's good news. And they basically gave up on this thing. They just ate all the cards in the graveyard with Murktide Regent. That's fine. So it's time for Constructs to take over. I do end up going to 9 if I make 2 Constructs off this Urza Saga. But I think that's fine, because I get to tutor up the Plow. I can plow one of my own creatures if I need a bunch of life. And a bunch of life I will have. Oh yeah. Here it comes. Found the Ancient Den, so I don't even necessarily need to get the Opal anymore. I probably still will, but I don't need to. Yeah, Opal helps me pay for the other Urza Saga to make another construct. So, yeah, I probably do want to do that. They did not shuffle their Ponder, and they found a fetch land to go with it, so they're likely to flip Delver next turn. Here comes Murky. Murky Rege. And another Channeler. Alright. So, I'm going to make a construct. I don't think I can actually go to 6. I didn't account for the Regent attack, but I definitely can't go to 6 life right now. I guess I can see my draw step. Oh, great. Another one of those. That's what I was looking for. So I'm going to float mana with this one, and then get my tutor on. And the Wasp is here, but I do... Is Wasp better than Opal? I don't think so. Yeah, just having the less painful mana is important. And additional colors thereof. So I can play Ravager with this floating mana that I have right now, because I want all of my colored sources. So I'm going to get another Sentinel, Ravager, and I can Swords to Plowshare or something if I need to. I'm just going to mash for 7 right now. Ravager does not increase the size of the construct token, because anything I would sack to Ravager shrinks the construct. That's just how that card works. I guess I could have attacked with one of the Sentinels. Like, that may have gotten a block, because Ravager does interact with those favorably. So the Swords to Plowshares is a big part of the plan right now. I just really need them not to have Force of Will. So they're lightning bolting my face. I would like to draw 3 cards, please. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so now what I need is for the Dragon's Rage Channelers to not get where they're going. Don't mill a creature. Don't mill a creature. Alright, they didn't mill a creature. They did mill a lightning bolt, though. It's a bold choice. So let's see what they want to do here. Oh, they have Chain Lightning also. Okay, so 1 card left in their hand. I need them not to find a creature anywhere. Oh, they found a creature. Alright, now we lose. I could have plowed my construct to get more life, but I'm not going to beat 12 in the air. Even if I sack every permanent I have, it's not going to do what I need it to. Okay. I don't have red to send it back, so now we're dead. Alright, yeah, the double bolt was enough. 1 bolt wasn't. Well, it wasn't even the double bolt. It was the double bolt and Finding Delirium. Okay, sideboard for game 3. Is Thorn of Amethyst something I want? Still not sure about that. Being on the play, though, it's going to be better than on the draw, for sure. They did have a lot of creatures that game, which isn't a surprise. It's just they did have a very creature-centric game there. I don't think I'm going to change anything about this, because Sai is still way better than Emery. It's just if Emery is better than Nettlecyst, or if Emery and Nettlecyst are both better than Thorn. And I didn't get a chance to put Thorn into play, but I think it's going to be really good against them if it does get there. And I didn't have to show them the Swords to Plowshares. Well, I have the turn 1 Thorn, but this hand doesn't function without it, or after that, and I'm dead instantly to a Wasteland. This is a mulligan. Okay, here we go. Much more interested in this. So I'm going to keep this, send... I think the Thought Monitor is the worst card in this hand. Even though it's really good. But I think I have to lean in on this Saga situation. Alright, sorry, Thought Monitor. I love you. I'll see you later. Okay, so I can plow a 1-drop if they have one. If they daze the plow, then the Thorn's going to resolve. Oh, you can't daze with that card. Alright, so... Plow Ragavan immediately. That would have been a lot better dashing. Guess they're deciding if they want a Force of Will, which I'm fine with because I also have Walking Ballista. Alright, deal. Force pitching Force. So this Thorn is getting more and more awkward every turn it doesn't come into play. But it's okay. Alright, here's Walking Ballista. So I am not going to minus and destroy Ragavan yet. Because if I do it now, they could just land dash a different one. So I'm just going to block. Yes, just block. That is a thing Walking Ballista can do. Believe it or not. Oh, they're passing. Okay. I'm not ready to jump in on this Ancient Tomb. I want to grow my constructs. So the Seat of the Synod makes construct bigger. It also doesn't hurt me to tap it. And then next turn, I can possibly surprise them with... So I get to construct now, untap construct, tutor up Mox, and then cast Thorn of Amethyst with Daze protection. This sounds pretty good to me. I like where all this is going. Alright, sure. Whatever. That wasn't even a real card. So I guess I don't actually have Daze protection, but... Oh, yeah, I do. What am I saying? Artifact lands are broken. I almost forgot. So, let's get Thorn into play. Playing around Daze here. Constructs a 4/4. I'm going to sit on this Serpent. I don't need to fire off a 1/1 into a possible Daze. Like, I just can make this a 5/5 or whatever and be unbeatable. So, a 2-mana Brainstorm out of them. This hand looks like it has Murktide Regent in it, which means I want a Swords to Plowshares sooner than later. But I don't have a whole lot of control over when I get that card. So maybe I just need to make a giant Stonecoil Serpent before it's too late. I'm also ahead of Lightning Bolts on Construct right now. Like, this is a 4/4, and that's the magic number. So if I can pound them hard enough and get Construct big enough, they're just going to have to chump with the Murktide Regent, even when they do end up casting it. They have Flooded Strand. Wow. Land, no play. Urza Saga, get in. I think tapping Ancient Tomb is worth the damage here. I'm going to keep playing around Daze, though. Jam a 5/5, which makes another 5/5. Yeah, they're just dead. They know it's over. This Saga is going to make a 6/6, then a 7/7, then they're all going to become 8/8s. Easy game. Next round. I'm on the draw with a Saga Tomb hand. I'm going to keep it. I wish it had a 1-drop or a Mux, but it doesn't. But we get draw steps, right? Uh-oh. It's the mirror. It could be anything, but ooh. Okay, it's not the pure mirror, but it could be something resembling a mirror. I mean, it's obviously something resembling a mirror. They have Ornithopter in their deck. So, yeah, I think turning on Saga is going to be more important to get started than Ravager. Oh, here we go. I think being on the draw might cost us this game. That's just my instinct, but I guess we'll see where it goes. They have a Mox. Okay, they also had a Tomb hand. And they can make a construct now to turn on their Mox. Vault Scourge. Oh, we're just playing against modern Affinity. Yeah, this also works. Yeah. So they could have activated Saga to turn on their Opal, or they could tap Ancient Tomb to cast an artifact to turn on their Opal. It's all good. Esper Sentinel is in my hand now. I feel like that's a little slow, a little late. I'm just gonna get pummeled because I'm on the draw here. Like, Ornithopter and Vault Scourge barely matter, except that they're artifacts for this construct. They're gonna attack for 7 right now. Jeez. I'm gonna have to recoup this somehow. And my deck doesn't really have removal in the main, so the only way I can beat these constructs is by having bigger ones, which seems unlikely at this point. Alright, their deck actually does have Ornithopter in it to go off with Retrofitter Foundry. Mine does not. Oh, Jesus. I give up. He's had enough. Stop the damn match. Alright, sideboarding for the mirror. Need disenchants and plows, and I think that's everything. These are all mostly vindicate where they need to be. Things that are not as good include... So they have Ornithopters and I don't. I wonder if the list that I'm playing, if there was an Ornithopter in the original version, or what. Like the list that Chris sent me, I don't know if he modified it at all. But these Retrofitter Foundries are just terrible. Sai still seems like he'll be really good when it matters. Aethersworn Canonist is at its worst here, because it's not going to stop them from doing anything. It's just a 2/2. And if I'm going to spend 2 mana, I'd rather get a disenchant out of it in this matchup. So here we are. Let's go. Now I get to be on the play. And because this matchup is built on speed, I'm not going to cut one of my opals. I'm trying to do to them the same thing they did to me this game, where I'm on the play, construct, 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 you're dead. This hand does not do that. Having both the sideboard cards is nice, but Seed of the Synod doesn't cast them. With a Mox Opal, I would have slammed that hand. I can keep this one. And I think I'm going to send Nettlecyst to the bottom. Even though... No, Stonecoil Serpent is worse than Nettlecyst. Yeah. I'm keeping Sai because just the chump block and the additional artifacts, all huge deal out of Sai. So Mox Opal is a non-creature spell. Retrofitter Foundry, there are non-creature spells in these decks, for sure. This is not embarrassing. It's perfectly good. They have an Ancient Tomb and an Ornithopter. I would very much like to find a Mox Opal for myself. Alright, are they going to pay the 1, or do they have another 1 drop to cast? Alright, they paid the 1. Fair enough. I hope that was at least disruptive and not just bad. It was just bad. No, they probably have a 2-drop in their hand that they would have liked to cast there. But they do have the Retrofitter Foundry Ornithopter start. They can make a 4/4 immediately. So I need some help here. Okay, that's a good one. That is the blue source I needed. It's another artifact for the Nettlecyst and the Ravager. This is still a slow start. It's not cranking out the sagas the way I would like. I don't get to attack because they have Foundry. Let's see if they cash in right away. Yep, sure did. So Sai will be pretty good against the 4/4. And I am probably going to take a turn off of Nettlecyst to get Sai into play. Just make sure I get that value locked in moving forward. That's the chump with a Thopter, feed it to Ravager line against a 4/4 will eventually shut it down. They can cast Thought Monitor right now if they have it. That's scary. That card is so nice. I'm kind of in love with Thought Monitor. Here comes the attack. In for 4, no blocks. Just gonna have to absorb some attacks for a little while. I think Mox Opal is still my best draw. Like if I can play Sai, immediately get a trigger, start soaking up damage a turn early. That's good for me. Alright, Nettlecyst. And they paid the tax. Bummer. I got excited because I thought I was going to draw a card, but instead they just have a 5/5. I'm not excited anymore. Okay, I'm gonna put Psy into play. And then I might have to chomp with Esper Sentinel just to make sure I am able to pivot into this Psy game, the holding pattern. Another Thopter that goes off with Retrofitter Foundry. But I can play Stonecoil Serpent as a 0/0 if I need to. I could have done it this turn too, but I think that's worse, and I don't actually need to do that. And none of these things have trample. The Ornithopter can fly, but my Thoppies block a flyer just as well as they block a germ token, so that doesn't really matter. Uh-oh, Ravager is a little scary. Now they get to move stuff around too. Alright, we're gonna play some chess from behind here. There's gonna be a lot of onboard tricks. Whoever navigates them better is gonna do better, I think. Oh no. They're still paying mana. Jeez. Ouch. Yeah, that Ballista's rough. Because now if I block... Alright, so I'm gonna block the 8/8. Or do I block the other way? I guess either way, Ballista sweeps my board. And they can sack their Ornithopter to keep it. So I guess I'm just gonna block the 8/8 with my Ravager. And then let Ravager die and modular onto Esper Sentinel, where it will promptly get destroyed by Walking Ballista. And they should probably sack one of their random artifacts to make Ballista bigger before they do that. Then they can just control my Thopters as well. Wow, this lined up really badly for me. They're going to win easily with this Ballista. I thought we were going to have a good game, but it's going to be a ranching. So they have sacked their Opal to modular onto Ravager. Now they're ravaging onto Ballista. Okay. We briefly had a chance. Now we don't. Well, they let the modular trigger resolve. Now it's going to cost them 2 +1 counters to kill that. They could still do it. It's just not free like it was a second ago. They could have also sacked the Ornithopter as well, just gone one deeper, or turned Ornithopter into a 4/4, then sacked Foundry and cleared out the Psy. The Psy's more likely to be able to control the pace of this game than anything else I have going on. Alright, still trying to draw Mox Opal. They're just showing off. They have 2. I would like one, please. Opal. Ancient Den. Okay, that's not bad. I do get to Nettle Cyst and play my Stonecoil Serpent. And that being an artifact land makes my Nettle Cyst bigger. And Walking Ballista will have to fight over the Stonecoil Serpent and 2 Thopters if it wants to punch through here. Oh wow, they just threw it right in the graveyard. That's a deal. What's the rush? Why would you do that so quickly? I don't know. Like, did they think... I'm not going to try to make sense of that play. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me. So they get to turn their Thopter into a construct. And I get a 1/1. So now I can block constructs with my 5/5. Or, yeah, I can eat a construct with my 5/5, go to 1. That sounds like a bad idea, though. I can chump their germ with Thopter and block a construct with my germ, and they lose a construct. I take 4, then I can move Nettle Cyst onto probably Psy next turn, or I probably want it on the Reach creature. Alright, so Darksteel Citadel was their draw. They can start making servos with this. 1, 2. Yeah, they can make a servo. So this is 1 bigger than it looks like. I would very much like to keep drawing artifacts to cast. That's really what this game's about right now. If I can hide behind Psy for a couple turns, there might be a chance. I'm gonna have to take 4 here And this is a trade because one of my artifacts will leave play after damage. So Nettlecyst falls off. Yeah, I just need to draw like any artifact to cast. I hope I can buy time with that. So put Nettlecyst on. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's +4. So if I put it on Stonecoil Serpent, I can do what? Block Construct. Sai can also block Construct, but Sai has a huge ass just at baseline. So I'm going to put it onto Sai. Yeah, so Sai's a nice. Sai's a 6/9. And that can block the Nettlecyst more effectively. And then I can start pivoting into constructs and hopefully just draw an artifact to cast along the way. They get to make a servo here. So I guess if they draw any artifact, Sai doesn't get to block the germ anymore. But Stonecoil Serpent was about dead to this world anyway. And I don't really have 2 artifacts to sack to draw a card with Sai. Like if I had a Thopter laying around, maybe. Yikes, they got Springleaf Drum. So now they can make a servo at instant speed, make their germ token a 9 power. So I have to block with Stonecoil Serpent here. It's a forced play, as they say. Yeah, I think that just letting this die is better than losing one of my lands. Yeah, I'll have Construct next turn to block again, and I want to keep the Nettlecyst at a respectable size. And I would really just like to draw an artifact to cast. Ooh, Disenchant. That might be better than an artifact. So I'm going to pass and should be able to blow them out in combat. And by blow them out, I mean remove Nettlecyst from play. It's not really a blowout, I guess. So they can make a flyer. Okay. If they turn their servo into a Thopter and then move Nettlecyst over, that actually is a blowout in combat, because then they spent their whole turn and a bunch of mana trying to present lethal. I hope they do take that line, actually. That would be great. Okay, they did sack their thing for a Thopter. Now let's see them move that Nettlecyst over, lose their germ, and then I get to make a play and hope that they didn't draw a counterspell. Alright, whatever they drew, they're going to cast. Oh no, they're making white mana. Oh no, that's probably just to move the Nettlecyst over. Sure. It's gone. Alright, moment of truth. If they drew an artifact, they should put it into play because it... Okay. Oh shit. I'm dead to that anyway. I'm gonna have to, I guess, disenchant the Thopter now instead of the Nettle. Alright, well, how many artifacts do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that... okay, so they sack Nettlecyst, Ravagers 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's still lethal. Alright. I do have to go after the Thopter. Bummer. Ravager was a really good draw there. But I'm about to make 2 constructs plus tutor with Saga. I can get the bee. So I'm going to have a bunch of big creatures in play. Still fighting down their Nettlecyst. Alright. So they don't have any other things they can do this... Or they can tap Ancient Tomb to put the Nettlecyst onto a different creature. And then they have a bunch of big attackers. Again, I would really like to draw a castable artifact to get a trigger out of Sai. Sai has been the hero of this game. I would have been dead years ago. Alright, they're equipping Ravager. You got it. It's a 10/10. That's so big. And then make my construct. Then I draw for turn, see what we got. Nettlecyst. That's the thing that's dominating this game right now. Alright, so make another construct. I'm probably going to tutor up Mox Opal so I can cast this Nettlecyst. Opal also triggers Yeah, it's the B or Opal, and I think it's just got to be Opal, given the state of the board. All right, I got my own Nettle. That triggers Psy. We've got some action here. We're playing the game again. All right, cool. Got a pile of 8/8s. Got a 9/12. And a little 1/1 Chumpy. We're both in top deck mode. I have Psy, they have Retrofitter Foundry. So we both have onboard engines. To see. Oh no. That was bad. Let's see if I can get this game over with before that matters. So they are just on board here, but the servo that they can make to block with is a big deal. If they didn't have Foundry, I attack with all these creatures, and they're still alive. Or they'd take 8/9. They would take 9, but they have the servo to chump with, so that's not even really there. All right, time to draw an artifact spell. I would also accept Disenchant. I'm on deck. Oh, are we doing this? So, yeah, I mean, it's Saga time. I don't know who's favored here, but I'm going to make my moves. Oh, shit. I should have piled on... I'm such an idiot. I should have piled on the Nettlesys onto my flyer and just killed them. I missed it. Now they can make a servo in the end step, and I blew that real hard. Yeah, they were all in on board. Wait, oh no, wait. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2 activate, 1, 2, 3 untap, 1. Okay, so they could have chumped it. So maybe that wasn't a full miss. They would have lost 2 life and spent all their mana to chump it, though, and they wouldn't have the servo coming into this turn. That was still... I didn't even think about it, which is what I'm really worried about. Alright, another Nettlecyst. Jeez. This game is wild. Right, do they have an attack? I guess, yeah, Ravager can attack pretty freely here. So, if I block with my Thopter, I can sack Thopter and Opal to draw a card with Psy, and hope that that pays off long term. Sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. That shrinks my constructs pretty considerably, but any spell in my deck replaces the Thopter. I don't know. It might be greedy, but come on. Artifact spell? Okay, I'll take a Disenchant again. Alright, so we're gonna play that same line we played a couple turns ago, where my opponent will pile onto their Thopter, and I'll buy some more time with Disenchant. Ugh. This match is so stressful. I'm gonna make this right now, in case they tutor up something. Like, I could Disenchant their Saga, but it's too late. Like, I do need to fight over their servos, and they do have a Mana with Stringleaf Drum to make a construct. Oh, they have 3 different lethal attackers and a Ravager. Ugh. I don't think I'm surviving this one. Yeah, this is looking bad, team. I think they might have found the way through. Yeah, Retrofitter Foundry has been great in their deck. As not great as it's been in mine. They actually have Ornithopters. Oh, Welding Jar? Fuck. Alright, that's bad. Regenerating a creature still taps it, so that does... I'm not just dead. Alright, moving Nettlecyst onto the flyer. No surprise there. Alright, so... Regenerate also removes it from combat. I'm fairly certain that is true. So I can let them attack. Here comes the attack. Let's see how deep they want to go. Is it just the flyer, or do they want to turn all of their 14s sideways? All right. Several of their 14s are coming in. I do have to target the Thopter with the disenchant, both for Ravager reasons and for combat reasons. Like, I don't think regenerating the Nettle Cyst unequips it. Now they have to decide if they want to use their Welding Jar or if they want to save it and... Okay, so they've decided to leave a lethal threat in play for next turn. That makes sense. It's about as good as Welding Jar is going to get. Now I have to figure out what I'm doing with all of my creatures. I think I just double block everywhere. I think that results in me losing everything, but it's really the only chance I have. Like, if I chump, then they make the same attack next turn. This can at least reduce some of the Nettle Cyst potency and makes constructs smaller. Yeah, I just lose everything here. I can move a second Nettle Cyst onto Psy, but I need to draw a Thought Monitor. That's the out here. Like, if I can Thought Monitor into additional artifacts and make a couple Thopters with Psy, that's how I can still win this game. Okay, so they're making a servo before blocks. I don't think that changes any math. Yeah, I think we all just still lose everything. Or at least all of the creatures that are in combat. And it's time to draw Thought Monitor. Exactly Thought Monitor. Ancient Tomb's not going to do it. I don't think there's an artifact in my deck that cantrips. It's just the Wasp or Mox Opal I can get here. Destroy an artifact you control. That doesn't help me. So Wasp is in play. This can block a flyer, but all of their attackers are lethal. So, and especially with Ravager, that's definitely true. Extra true. I guess I can give them a chance to mess up, though. I don't know how they would mess up, but I gotta give them the opportunity. Yeah, we just got beat by Retrofitter Foundry. Just the steady supply of just material on the board, just additional 1/1s for their things that count all the artifacts. Psy, I just couldn't string any spells together to make more Thopters with, and Retrofitter Foundry doesn't require any help. It just sits in play and does the thing. So if they attack with all their creatures right now, I just lose. They have to maybe give some respect to Swords to Plowshares, but they haven't seen that card yet. And they also have Ravager, so they don't really need to respect it at all. They should just elbow tap all their shit sideways. They figured it out. Alright. That was a sweet game. Their deck was definitely better built for the mirror than mine. But that was close. There were opportunities for that to break either way. Thought Monitor would have been the one to make it happen, but it didn't. On to the final round. Funny story, when I was tuning this deck before the league, I considered replacing one of the disenchants with Hurkyl's Recall, and that would have been a banger in the mirror, but I figured playing the mirror was not super likely. Anyway, here we are. On the draw, with this hand that is a little awkward because it doesn't have white, but I think it's fine. Emery's got some juice to her, and I can Ballista on 1 if they're a creature deck. I can Psy on 2, no matter what they are. If I find a white source, Aethersworn Canonist is just a weird magic card for people to have to play against in game 1. Could do a lot of lifting. We'll see what's going on here. The thing that would really just break my heart is Daze my Walking Ballista, Wasteland my Ancient Tomb. GG. Underground Sea Ponder. Decks that do that include Doomsday, Grixis or 4-color Delvers, Storm of any variety. As we'll find out, they did not shuffle their library. Oh, Esper Sentinel. You were the chosen one. Alright, I'm just going to put Walking Ballista into play and see what happens. I'm sure they were very happy. No matter what they're on, I'm sure they were stoked when this was Walking Ballista and not Chalice. Just Ancient Tomb, watch the mana, leave the mana pool, the way Magic Online does when someone's casting an X spell. Alright, so Underground Sea Bayou. This could just be some bug deck. Alright, my hand kind of sucks, but they'll probably take Emery from it. Guess taking Psy could be defensible too if they are a fair deck. Or they could take Canonist if they're a combo deck and just play around me drawing a white source. Mox Opal's my best draw, as usual. Hey! So, Sai goes on the stack. Come on, resolves. No days, no days, no days. I chose to explode instead of playing around days. Oh, they had force. That's fine. Opal and not green. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get dazed, but I am sad I don't get two Thopters out of this play that I was going to make anyway. They're fatal pushing my Ballista. I'll ping them on the way out. And then here's Esper Sentinel. I wonder if they think the fatal push would have let me draw a card, because I think killing Sentinel is more important than killing Ballista. Unless they're a Witherbloom combo deck, then Ballista obviously does mess them up pretty hard. Smells like an Uro to me. Do I have a plan for this thing? Not really. Blue, blue, green, green, confirmed. Grafdigger's Cage is in the sideboard. So I guess I'm gonna play my Sentinel. Stonecoil Serpent has protection from multicolor, so that does at least buy me some time. But the Uro drawing a bunch of cards is what's really scary. It was never about the 6/6. Though it was kind of about the 6/6 also. Not gonna lie. So they have Verdant Catacombs, they're fetching. They're playing to some sort of draw off of Uro, it seems. Because they already had Uro mana. Oh no, yeah, they had blue, blue, green, green. Okay, so I kind of hope they do Uro into Ponder and let me draw two cards off Sentinel, because that's how I'm going to win this game. I just realized the sort of non-bow between Esper Sentinel and Aethersworn Canonist, because if they can only cast one spell per turn, then that's a lot of extra mana that they have sitting around. Alright, here's Sai. So I'm just passing, and they're going to get to draw some cards and gain some life with their Uro, but I can at least absorb the 6 damage. Though I'm sure they're not impressed at all about that. They're also not impressed at all at these Esper Sentinels anymore. Look how many lands they have in play. Jeez. Alright, block that. Bounce off each other. We're here for the long haul. Time for Thought Monitor to show up and do some work. Alright, I'll take Aethersworn Canonist. Well, I mean, I had Aethersworn Canonist, but Plains isn't the worst, because now I can still sack 2 artifacts to draw a card with Sai and keep some semblance of velocity moving forward. Attack back. I'll take back that 3 life you just gained. So next turn we will be netting damage if they don't find something else. Oh, they're fetching. What could the mana they already had in play possibly not check? I guess Fatal Push if they need Revolt, but they are fetching again. Maybe they're just thinning the deck, trying to draw spells. Here comes the Uro. Here comes the block. So Fatal Push is in their deck. We've seen at least 1 copy. I'm not ready to start sacking artifacts with Sai to draw cards yet. Yeah! That's the card I want. I want this to draw 2 more. Thought Monitor drawing 2 more Thought Monitors. That's the play. Sign me up. It's happening. You saw it here, live on camera. Let's go. Find another one. And a blue source. Not quite. Maybe I should have played the Ancient Tomb, but also maybe not. Alright, now I can actually kill Uro on defense. Maybe I'm supposed to play around days here too, but I didn't do that either. Fuck it. Okay, so here come my creatures. Snapcaster Mage is a blowout because I attacked with Canonist. Didn't have to be. Probably should have left Canonist back, but I'm mostly just scrapping against this Uro. How about those Thought Monitor into Thought Monitor? That's what I've been asking for the whole league. I'm glad it showed up now. What is really bad for me right now? The Plague Engineer. That's a card I don't want to play against. That's a good one. So now I can actually block and kill Uro. Remove it from play. If they re-escape it, they actually can't unless they have a fetch land, because they don't have enough things, and if they cast like Ponder to fuel the escape, then that's their spell for the turn. Okay, so the front half of Uro from hand is their spell for the turn. Wow. Oh, we might actually win this game where Uro attacked 3 times. So Uro put in a swamp, but they don't get any creatures, or they don't get any more spells. And now I'm untapping into... I have Saga and enough mana that I can sack artifacts to draw cards with Sai. Assassin's Trophy targeting Sai, huh? Alright. Would you like to pay the troll toll? I'm sure you do. So there goes that. So Mox Opal is a pretty easy sack. I'm good on mana at this point, and Esper Sentinel also kind of sucks right now. So I think I do. Oh, they're in response to me finding or in response to my land gaining taps for mana. That's funny. So sack the Esper Sentinel and the Mox Opal. Let's draw some extra cards. That's fine. All right, and then Sai can take a bath from there. There's 1 more planes in my deck. Or 2 more planes. Nice. There are 4 apparently. And then I'm going to attack with all my creatures. Because I know that they can't cast any more spells this turn. Go. Go forth, my brutal horde. They're at 2. I'm glad they're not at 1. I didn't even count. That would have been funny if they went to 1 after I sacked that creature to draw a card. Thought Monitor into Thought Monitor. Count it. Put it on the board. Okay, so in the sideboard, I do think my main deck is pretty good against them. Like, I played some bug decks recently against this deck, and it's just a complete steamroll. It's really hard to beat this deck playing fair, and that bug deck is playing fair. I'm not even sure if I care about Surgical Extraction or Swords to Plowshares for their Uros and shit. Maybe I want like a couple plows in. I'm not bringing in Surgical, but what do I even cut? Because my deck's already great. Oh yeah, the Retrofitter Foundries that don't do anything. That's what I'm cutting. I feel like the list was slightly altered, which made it awkward. And this card should not be in this deck as a 3 of without other support cards. So something went wonky there. Though maybe leaving in 1 of them makes some sense. Because I can tutor it if I need to get grindy. Do I want Grafdigger's Cage? That is something I can tutor up that stops Uro. Yeah, I'm going to shave an Opal for the cage. Let's do it. Right, this hand is pretty solid. I'm going to keep it. Esper Sentinel on turn 1. That's when you want it. I'm on the draw. I need a little bit more mana, or at least a way to turn on Mox Opal. Like any artifact land sets it off. Ponder to kick it off from the opponent. They did not shuffle their Ponder. Hey, an artifact land. So, Ancient Den, Esper Sentinel, Mox Opal, and Indestructible 1-drop. Okay, here we go. I decided to get on board with the Stone Coil rather than hold it back, because this will lock in Metalcraft for next turn, and it just doubles the clock. I think it is likely that we end up attacking. I mean, why would we not? I have Swords to Plowshares. Even if they have Collector Oof, I have the answer. Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's the sort of thing we wouldn't attack through. That answers my question. So, Swords to Plowshares. If they counter this, I draw a card off Esper Sentinel. But they didn't counter it, so we're just in. More X1s. Flood the board, team. Just playing some small ball. Didn't see Tarmogoyf in game 1. Glad I brought in some Swords to Plowshares, because that would have bricked me pretty hard if I just didn't have it. You need Ravager to dance around Goyf normally. So 3 mana. I do have 2, or nope, don't have 2 constructs. All of my creatures are different creature types. So Plague Engineer will have to choose. I'm not going to pop my Ballista and give them 2 for free. I want them to commit to Human or Snake. Alright, they committed to Construct. Deal. Alright, as I continue to draw constructs, but I can make these ones bigger. Here it is, another one. And then this can get big enough next turn to continue, but it can just grow. And in 2 turns, I can answer Plague Engineer without this dying. Because even though that is 2 tokens, as soon as it fires off the first one, it's a 0/0 because of the -1. Brainstorm. Give me my card. Give me my card. Okay, using Wasteland to pay for the Sentinel tax is a good payoff for me, because I kind of want all my artifacts in play and my lands. Especially with this Ballista I'm trying to tick up over here. If they didn't attack, found another mana source. I'm going to put a counter on Ballista and see what they want to do about that. I am going to wait a turn on doing anything with Ballista though. If they go to destroy it, I can ping Plague Engineer now, and if they give me another turn to develop it, then I can ping Plague Engineer and keep it alive and attack. Leovold. Alright, that one's trouble. But I don't think I'm going to fight with it. I think I just want to grow my Ballista. Continues to be the plan. Yeah, Wasteland doesn't really matter because I have the Opal. Swords to Plowshares, not bad. I'm going to put a +1 counter on Walking Ballista right now. Right now, if they want to Fatal Push it, it's going to cost them a card off Esper Sentinel. So I'm just going to hold my horses. I will probably Plow Leovold, then ping Plague Engineer next turn. At least that's my plan. Fatal Push targeting Walking Ballista. Alright, so that hurts. They're going to get 2 extra cards out of this. I could also just kill Leovold, give them 3 cards, but they'd end up 4 cards total. They'll end up 3 cards total this way. Alright. Time to clear out the Plague Engineer. Go ahead, draw your cards. Ping it for 1. Ping it for 2. Yeah, the old draw 2 cards, Fatal Push. Not bad. And then I'm going to let this die because I'm not going to give them 2 cards just for 2 life. That's not important. And got a Wasteland out of that. Sure. Stonecoil Serpent will hold the Leovold at bay for a while, though. Eventually I'll draw Thought Monitor and just go nuts. Or Urza Saga. It's a shame you spent all those Wastelands. Okay. Here we go. It's time for Urza Saga to turn the corner on this game. Let's overpower Leovold. No! Curses. Okay. They had a 3rd Wasteland. I guess that's what happens when you draw a million cards off Leovold. I'm going to go for the Plow. I would like to start attacking. I get to draw 1 more card. They've drawn plenty of cards that they can afford to force this Plow if they have the Force. They do indeed have the Force. Would you like to pay the toll? Yeah, the Sentinel has not drawn any cards in this matchup. That's kind of shitty. Let's draw another Saga, though. That was definitely my best draw. Alright, I'm going to play this. That at least proactively deals with Uro. I'm not going to play the Ballista on 1. I don't want to get it swept up by another Plague Engineer. And at some point I'll be able to cast it for bigger. Ooh, Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp. Flying and modular, you don't say. Ooh, Force of Will on this. That's a lot of respect. Did they even read this card? It's a 1/1 flying. Though I guess piling up on Stonecoil Serpent is a big problem for them. What did they pitch? Oh, a backup or another Force of Will. They pitched Leovold and Force of Will to these 2 forces. Alright, so they're back to top deck mode. Here we are. They still don't have attacks because Stonecoil Serpent is broken. I think Walking Ballista for 2 is big enough, because next turn I can grow it to 3, then I can start attacking through the Leovold. Oh, they had another Fatal Push. I hope this is Assassin's Trophy at least. Nope. Just a decay. Alright, it's just gonna die. They're not getting more cards out of me. Okay. Back into top deck mode we go. Thought Monitor's not even a good draw for me because they have Leovold. Urza Saga is my best draw. Ravager is also not bad. That can pile up on Stonecoil Serpent. It can turn this Esper Sentinel from nothing into at least a +1 counter. Are they going to destroy Esper Sentinel in response? No, this is a hardcast force, for sure. They can't pay the troll toll, but they have Leovold in place, so they don't need to. Bummer. What a blowout. Okay, now we're both officially top decking. Worked through all of the Leovold extra cards. Leovold's a messed up magic card, by the way. Baleful Strix is pretty good here. Just trying to fade that Fatal Push. Oh, Tarmogoyf's also real good. It's a 6/7. Yeah, there's an Urza Saga in the graveyard. There's that Retrofitter Foundry. I mean, this was a good time for it to show up, so it can chump Tarmogoyf forever. Wish it showed up 2 turns ago, but I'm not going to get greedy. The Baleful Strix is also in check from Stonecoil Serpent. Reach and protection from multicolor do a lot of work. They do have to pay the toll here. Leovold does not stop this draw. But Ponder was good. Ponder's always good. They chose to shuffle their Ponder. That's good news. Here it comes. Oh, they attacked with the Strix. Do they not know? Throne of Eldraine is 2 years old at this point. There's no excuse to get blown out by a Stonecoil Serpent anymore. Put it in the graveyard. Ha 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 ha. It's been in play, bricking this Leovold forever. And then they just put Strix on it. Oh, another one. Sure. I wonder if this one's also going to attack. Urza Saga, please. Emery is not a combo with Grafdigger's Cage, let me tell you. But if I draw a Ravager, I can sack my Cage and set the Emery free. So that's actually not bad. We continue to be in a holding pattern here. Also, if they don't realize that Emery interacts poorly with Cage, they might waste a removal spell on it. Jace the Mind Sculptor. That's a good card. Esper Sentinel has drawn 0 cards this turn, despite arriving on turn 1. Bouncing Emery. Yeah, that's fine. Deal. You got it. That's the thing I just said. They might waste resources on Emery when it already doesn't do anything. Okay, so problem. They should have attacked with Goyf. Like, I get that I get to block it, but you don't just give me a servo. Unless we're just fighting over Jace right now, which is also a reasonable thing to do. Speaking of Emery comboing with Arcbound Ravager, we found it. Put a Thought Monitor in the graveyard? Oh yeah, you're in trouble now. I guess that's still not true, because they have the Leovold in play still. It's alright. We'll figure this one out. I can turn my servo into a Thopter, and then I have a flying creature. Jace is brainstorming. That's too bad. Zabaz the Glimmerwasp could come into play here. Okay, 1 card left in hand. They fetched. What else you got? Oh no, a removal spell? Nope, not a removal spell. Oh, it's Uro. Sure. Alright, maybe I don't want to sack my Cage right away. Let's see what the draw step brings. I'm just really in the market for an Urza Saga. I cannot stress enough how much I want that card to appear in my hand. Esper Sentinel, still not drawing any cards. Doesn't know how. It's never drawn a card in its life. They shuffled their Ponder. I'm going to upgrade my creature to a flying creature. Sack a servo, make a Thopter. Now I can make a 4/4 if I want to. So, do I think I can beat an Uro? Do I have any world where that's going to happen? So if I make Ballista right now out of the graveyard, if I sack my Caged Ravager, cast Ballista, do I beat Uro in that game? You may cast that card this turn. Okay, so I'm moving in. Let's go. Grafdigger's Cage, you're out. Walking Ballista, you're in. I gotta kill this Jace. There's no other option. It's gotta be done. Is Ballista the best way to do that? Yeah, because I have to get through the Strix and then also attack. So like Nettlecyst doesn't do it. Yeah, I think Ballista's the play. Walking Ballista, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is. No, it's 2/2 glory. They get to draw a card from Leovold. I have not forgotten, but Jace is going to draw a lot more cards than Leovold is. So get that out of here. And then attack Jace for 1. And then I'm going to ping it for the other one after combat is successful. Okay. We're in. And then finish it off. I guess if I... Yeah, I mean, drawing 1 card for Jace to die, I guess, is better than possible alternatives. Like, the alternative being Ravaging onto my Thopter. But that gets completely blown out by any removal spell. Alright, we're settling in now. Really wish this Leovold wasn't in play because that Thought Monitor in my graveyard is just screaming, cast me. They can Uro now, though, which I kind of hate. But I do still have the Stonecoil Serpent ready to fight. I can cast a 5/5 Serpent out of my graveyard, which with the other one does check Uro and kill it every turn. Maybe my plan is to deck them. Tarmogoyf should definitely attack this turn, though. Everything else being equal, I have no way to absorb 7 damage right now. Oh shit. Well, that's bad. They're probably gonna name Snake, but I want to make them do it. Like, whichever one I sack, they get a free kill on the other ones, so I'm gonna let them have this. Yeah, oh, they named Thopter. Okay. I'm glad I did not sack my Snake in response. Collector Oof, that's a good one. So, sacrifice Esper Sentinel for sure. And should probably just chuck all my lands in the graveyard. Though, maybe not. I do need Ravager to be a 4/4 to tangle with Leovold. So I think Retrofitter Foundry is done. Or is it Opal? Like, if I draw Swords to Plowshares immediately, I think Ancient Den is not going to help me here. And, oh, this is tough. If I draw Ancient Tomb, I want to still be able to cast spells. And if I draw Swords to Plowshares, I want to be able to still make servos. So I'll just stop at a 4/4. And I'm going to take 7 from this Goyf. Yeah, here that comes. Giant beats. We're only missing Tribal. The Goyf is almost at its apex. What do we got? Okay. Basic land was an insane draw here. I get to cast... There was a Nettle Cyst in here somewhere. That's why I didn't just throw every artifact into the Ravager, because just having the critical mass of artifacts to make Nettle Cyst large is still part of the plan. 6/6. That can beat Tarmogoyf next turn. Or I could double block it this turn. Yeah, that all sounds good to me. Nice. Okay. That does get blown out by removal, but I'm always going to get blown out by removal. Like, if they have removal, I basically lose at any point. Hopefully they just continue forgetting that they have Uro in their graveyard. They're tapping 4 mana. It's either Uro or Jace. God, I hope it's Uro. Alright, it is in fact Uro. This Leovold has been an absolute monster. It's drawn something like 5 cards and also stopped my Thought Monitor from jumping out of the graveyard. This seriously good card. Also saved them like 4 or 5 life from the Ballista Pings that I didn't bother to send off on the way out. Alright, no attacks. They're cowards. Esper Sentinel. That is an artifact I can put into play. That's not useless. So I think I want to cast Ravager. Or I'm going to put the Sentinel in first. If they want to interact with me, they're going to have to pay the toll. I'm sure they can afford it. But Ravager can die every turn, and Modular still triggers, even if I can't activate its ability. Can't have it sack anything, but here's Nettle Cyst, just being huge. We're more in this game than I would have expected, considering they've had Leovold in play since turn 3. They have a 7/8 Tarmogoyf. Uro's here. Collector Oof is in play. Like, this is just an absurd collection of things that they have. I'm going to block with Nettle Cyst because I do want the Uro to die. Like, I want them to have to eat through their graveyard and, like, use resources, not just bounce off Stonecoil Serpent every turn for free. They do get to draw a second card this turn off Uro with this way, but they can only bring it back 3 times. Only 3 times. But the way this game has gone so far, that might be fine. If they ever remove Emery, I'm in all sorts of trouble. But let's hope they can't do that for at least another turn or two. Just let me turtle up a little harder. And maybe I'll just draw Urza Saga at any point. That card is still very much a live draw. No, they had the trophy. Well, I do get one more. There is a Plains still in my deck, unless I milled it. Alright, the Plains is still in my deck. There are 3 Urza Sagas in this deck. Let's draw them. And I do still have an 8/8 in play, and a protection from multicolor. All of which are big deals. Alright, that grows my creature, so I am going to fire it in. None of these things have vigilance, so I don't get to attack. Just holding the fort. It's Uro versus my top decks. Uro versus Urza Saga is the dual deck right now. So if they answer Nettle Cyst, I can still absorb for a while with Serpent. If they remove Serpent, Nettle Cyst is still an 8/8. So I have things covered in a couple different directions. I'm behind, but weirdly stable. And if they kill any of these Ravagers, those tokens are going straight onto Stonecoil Serpent. Fatal Push on my Germ. Ouch. Okay, that's gone. So now do they start attacking with other things too? I feel like the Goyf should attack, yeah. Alright, so Uro is drawing more cards. I'm going to block Uro with Stonecoil Serpent and block Tarmogoyf with the smaller Ravager. And then I'm going to modular onto Stonecoil Serpent. Oh, they have more spells. Sudden Edict. Okay. Esper Sentinel sucks anyway. That was not a good Sudden Edict. I mean, removing any material from the board here is useful. But it wasn't that bad as far as things could go. The Helpful Strix is here. Come on, Urza Saga. We're running out of time for that to be an out. And Swords of Plowshares is also really good here. That was not it at all. They are down to 6 minutes on their clock. A new win condition emerges. So here come the attacks. Do they attack with everything yet? Definitely not everything. I mean, Oof stays back and Leovold stays back. But yeah, Plague Engineer is safe to come in. Alright, so block. Do I want to eat the Strix? It's a little cheeky little lunch. I don't think so. Alright. These are my blocks. This will become a 6/6 now. Any removal spell, including Sudden Edict, clears my board. Honestly, I think if they just waited a turn on the Sudden Edict, they would have swept me this turn, because I definitely would have jumped with the creatures that I had still available. Liliana the Last Hope. That's a good one. So that can rebuy Baleful Strix or Plague Engineer. Oh, it can also just make my thing small. Okay, sure. Oh, a second Collector Oof. That's good to know. That makes it worth playing this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Big one. I think tapping that Ancient Tomb killed me, but I'm pretty sure I was dead anyway. So I'm just going to let them have their final attack. That game was weirdly scrappy. I feel like we never belonged in that game at all, but continued to play it much longer than was deserved. They just picked up a Baleful Strix with Liliana. They're going to get a redraw here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If they just attack with everything, I lose. It is deterministic. They figured it out. Alright, I'm dead. On to game number 3. So now that I've seen 2 Oofs and Leovold, we're going all the way up to 4 Plows. Like, forget about it. Just goofing around with the 2 was kind of silly. Probably should have assumed that at this point people would be ready for artifact decks. I feel like Aethersworn Canonist isn't the highest impact. The Esper Sentinels were fucking bad though, but I still think they're worth the slots. They do make the early game a little bit awkward. And that Retrofitter Foundry did show up and do work, finally. Just because it's a grindy matchup, not because it actually has any synergy with the deck. So do I want to be on Turbo Nettlecyst? I think I can keep this hand. Let's do it. I'm going to lead on Plains, not Seat of the Synod, because they have Wasteland in their deck. And I have kept a handful of 3-drops. They have 4.5 minutes to win this game, so they're going to have to play kind of aggressively, whether they like it or not. Oh, they had a turn 1 Ponder. Where was Esper Sentinel when I needed it? They also mulled to 6, for what that's worth. They did not shuffle their Ponder. Ooh, the plows here. Alright, Nettlecyst Tribal, let's go. Germ Tribal. They can't play Plague Engineer this turn, they don't have any fast mana. And future Germs can all pick up the Nettlecyst, so that's not really a problem. They could Abrupt Decay the equipment, that's pretty good. But I have more. Collector Oof is fine, I have that covered. So I think I want to plow first, because then I can cast the other Nettlecyst. Alright, I could cast it anyway, but I wanted to play an artifact land and I didn't get to. Still get to attack through this thing. 2-2 versus 2-2. Should probably trade off now because you're never going to get another chance. Didn't trade. Time to start playing artifact lands. These will be 4/4s next turn. Got to keep the beats coming. Burrows in play. That's a nice way to curb an aggro draw. They did not play a land off of that Uro. Canonist, huh? It's a shame I can't pay more mana than I currently have. Oh, Nettlecyst. Nettlecyst Tribal. Here come my 4/4s. If they chump, I'm playing the Canonist. Alright, here we go. Fetch land isn't enough to cast Uro here, because they only have 4 cards in their graveyard. And the Uro missing the land hit last turn means that they don't get to cantrip into it. So, unless they have, like, Surgical Extraction, I guess. Uh-oh. Is this Plague Engineer or Liliana? Damnation. Oh, that kills their Oof, too. Yeah, that's fine. Deal. Alright. So they can Uro next turn. Urza Saga. Uh-oh. Alright, Canonist. Suit up. Suit up. Got a 14/14. Let's go. Oh, this is fun. So if they Uro, that's their spell for the turn. That Damnation was nice, though. I was not expecting a card they could have would actually get them out of this. Or at least, like, survive for a turn. They're not really out of this yet. Like, Uro has to chump block because Aethersworn Canonist is just attacking for 14. Ooh, if they found Fatal Push, that's not necessarily the case. Another Saga. Do I want the second Saga? Do I have enough mana to do everything? Yeah, I do want the second Saga. So, Canonist is lethal anyway. I don't need to equip another Nettlecyst to it. Alright, they're dead. They scooped it up. Nettlecyst Tribal was good enough. Strung together the 3 and 2. So some people are definitely ready for this. We played against a number of Collector Oofs in the leagues and some hateful stuff. This is not the surprise it was a week and a half ago. 2.5 weeks ago by the time you're seeing this. But this deck felt really good. Sai and Emery, I feel like splitting them is probably the right call. Like, I feel like with a little more tuning and testing, you would end up with like 3-1 or 4-0. Or maybe like 4 Emery, get rid of these Retrofitter Foundries. I will definitely get rid of the Foundries unless, like, this version without Ornithopter, so definitely doesn't need 3 Foundries. Like 1 to tutor for if the grindy situation calls for it is fine. But I think I want more Emery. Though blue is also a splash. There's only 8 blue sources in the deck, but Urza Saga can tutor for one of them. Thought Monitor was so good that maybe you just want Thought Cast. I every spell in the deck is actually all right. I'm doing that. So Thoughtcast. All right, so I got Thoughtcast to go with my Thought Monitor. That might be a little too cute. I imagine this deck will be pretty well developed and iterated by the time that this league goes live, and this will be old technology. But the core of the deck is here. Esper Sentinel was pretty cool. There were times where it drew a lot of cards and times where it just didn't do anything. It was a 1/1 with no abilities, basically. Illusory Canonist, real nice. That gives you a lot of comfort. Nettlecyst was a serious banger. Ravager's always a banger. Thought Monitor easily won the one game it showed up in. Just go off with Psy. And Urza Saga continues to be busted. So this card, I don't expect it to be legal in Modern very long. I'm not sure that it clears the bar of Broken in Legacy, or if it's just a cool thing you can do. Though, we'll find out. I think that this is probably fine in Legacy, but it's real bad for Modern. If you are worried about Urza Saga, you can play Hurkyl's Recall in most blue decks. That sweeps up any number of construct tokens. Dress Down also kills any number of construct tokens while cantripping. So there's some options that you can do to answer this. Also, just Wasteland and Disenchant all answer Urza Saga. So I'm not ready to call for an Urza Saga ban in Legacy. I am totally ready to call for it in Modern. But this deck is cool. I think it's cool that it exists. And like we saw when people play things like Collector Oof, the deck gets a whole lot worse. So just a little bit of meta adjustment and prepare for this sort of thing, and you'll be all right. So thank you for watching. Chris, thanks for donating this deck. I'm really glad I got the chance to play it. Everyone, make sure to comment any thoughts that you have about the list, the deck, the way I played it. Love to hear it. And like and subscribe while you're here. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And check out my Patreon if you want to get in Discord conversations or submit donation decks of your own. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.